Hey guys, thank you so much for watching Sure Happens. I'm super excited for you to watch our first video. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on what's to come. You're about to meet my friend Natalie, who's been doing hair for quite a while. She was actually in high school at the time while I was in hair school, and she was in a program that her school offered that really allowed her to go through an entire cosmetology program in the 4 years that you're in high school. She graduated school with enough hours to go take her state board license, and that literally allowed her to become a licensed cosmetologist before she was 19 years old. So she did that, and then she went to college, and she's currently still in college, obtaining a business degree, which is incredible because if you ever have talked to a salon owner before, it is not easy being on the business side of this industry. So Natalie is really smart, she's really funny. She has been doing hair on her own since the very beginning, and I just don't think at any point I could have ever done hair on my own. I still can't do hair on my own. I constantly need to spitball ideas with all the other girls that I work with. So I wanted to bring Natalie on as my first guest because she's doing super incredible. She is literally doing hair that I do in a salon out of her dorm or apartment while obtaining a degree and building a clientele that keeps her so busy. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and thank you again so much for watching.
Okay, so I want to keep my hair in the warm family because I really like the copper tones, but I feel really dark, especially with the summer coming around. So I want to lighten it up, especially around my face.
Okay.
I feel really just dark and like almost kind of solid-ish.
Like not dimensional.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to see like pops of brightness and also like the lows as well, but I don't want to be as dark copper as I have been.
Are you wanting to transition to like strawberry blonde?
Yeah,
Okay.
more of a strawberry. I want to be able to still have some blonde in there because I just feel like I've lost all of it.
All of that, you know, this is copper with your natural when it grows out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Do you have an inspo picture?
Yes.
Yay, let me see it.
Love that. That is.
Like, show that.
But also her copper is slightly a little bit darker.
Like her copper is vibrant at her roots, but she's got the dimensional blonde.
I kind of like the more strawberry tone.
But I feel like that's pretty rich.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That one picture you texted me, I feel like that was more strawberry.
What did I text you? Oh. I like that one too.
Like that one, I'm like, okay, clear.
about
Because
this for so many months.
it would be like putting a strawberry hue on your natural with highlights.
Yeah.
Versus the other one is like copper-ish at your root with strawberry highlights. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you like that one more, I think, yes, let's do the clear. But if not, you see what I'm saying?
Which one do you think?
We can do
For
that.
summer?
Yeah. All right, so we'll do the 20 volume with clear. Let that process. And I'll mainly just apply it, I feel like, gosh, literally like here down.
Yeah.
Because even here, I feel like we want that hue of the undertone anyways. Like you don't want your natural color, right? Like you want that strawberry hue. So we won't even finagle with that and go more like pinky tones versus coppery. Is that,
I love that.
sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Sweet. All right, you want to come with me to get mixed up?
Yep.
So we're making Natalie brush her own hair. Love that for you. All right.
They're covered in hair color.
That's okay. They're white, right?
So, yeah.
Nothing a little bleach can't fix, okay? That's like my favorite thing about wearing white is like when in doubt, just a little bleach it out. It's fine. It is what it is.
We're Sharpieing the black.
Oh yes, absolutely. A fashion marker? I don't think so. You're taking old-fashioned Sharpies to do the trick. All right, I'm gonna start in the front because I want essentially your front to be the brightest. So Natalie is a licensed hairstylist. So if all of this goes south, it's fine. And it's her fault.
Oh my god.
This was her idea.
It was my idea.
So here we're just going in with 20 volume and Redken Shades Clear. We did 1-to-1 ratio, and we're just applying it to her mids and ends. She has a lot of copper buildup that we're trying to hopefully shift so we can
this does something. Do you see it shifting?
Natalie, it's been on for 2 seconds.
I know.
Okay. Okay. Okay, ma'am. If I've learned anything over the last several years, it's to let it sit.
I know.
I still don't, but. Okay, do you still think you're gonna do hair after school though, or no?
For sure.
Yeah.
I hate men's cuts. I think I do so many of them now.
When you get out of college,
I'm going to switch to the only request.
okay, because we've done so many. I feel like for the first half of our career, I only do them if they request me.
Right.
And I have to like know them.
Men's cuts are fine if I've been doing it forever.
Right. I don't want a walk-in. And men do not understand that we're not barbers.
I have to explain that to someone all the time.
Yes.
It is a completely different license.
Yes. Unless we go to barber school, we're not barbers. You know, at the old salon,
Yeah.
they would come in there all the time wanting fades. I don't do fades.
No, and I can't tell you how many people have told me, you can just watch YouTube videos.
You're
and I'm
right.
like, that's great, and
You're
I
right.
have. I know.
If you can watch YouTube, then licenses wouldn't exist, degrees wouldn't
Right.
exist, and none of us would be successful and be able to specialize in anything.
Right.
Men.
And they make you feel bad when you say no.
Oh yeah.
And I also have had a lot of people with men with like the beard trims and me saying that I don't know how to do those. I didn't learn those at all.
Also, okay,
And they're like, you can just watch a video. No.
you go watch a video. It's on your face. No.
Comfortable being so
Uncomfortable.
close to someone like
Yeah,
that.
it's like the intimacy without the intimacy, because you're just there
In their face.
in their face. Ooh. I want to give the best version of my work, not the
Exactly.
subpar version. All right, so this is hair after a clear.
Yeah.
I feel like it definitely set us up for success. You want money piece?
Yes.
Itty bitty.
Itty bitty cascading.
Cascading like with the bang, right? And
Yeah.
then just lightness throughout. Do you want lightness throughout here at all, or just mainly through here?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Really.
All right, cool. Well, yay. We can go to the back and get mixed up.
Yay.
Yeehaw. All right, so I'm gonna do a mixture of 30 and 20.
Oh my gosh, I have those same whisks and they break all the time.
Ew, that's annoying. Like, what do you mean break the
Yeah, that
No.
comes out and then like there's like this tiny little piece that like keeps it together, I guess. But it like just like flings somewhere and I just can't find it.
That's annoying.
Or this, yeah, I have these exact ones.
Like her, like the devil. Like when I first started doing hair, I was always told you cannot mix whitener with
With
a
a
metal whisk.
Why?
Like the metal, I guess, does something to the lightener. That's what I was told. So since then, it's like in my head that I can only mix with something that's gonna cover.
Do you like to mix with a spatula? I don't.
No,
This is different.
this isn't it.
This, yeah.
No, no, this isn't it for us. You're right. I've never been attached to a part,
Same.
so I've never been like, oh,
That's
it's actually this
not
way.
my
Yeah.
part. I've never done that either.
I mean, I was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it down the middle so you can have it.
Oh,
however you
yes. I'm like, let me just guarantee success here by going down the middle.
Yeah.
What do your consultations usually look like?
Well, usually just starts with like, so what are we feeling today? And let them go from there.
Let them do the talking.
Oh yeah. And then go in with my inputs.
How often do you feel like your clients come in without inspiration pictures?
You know, honestly, it's kind of a good mix. I have like lots of different Pinterest boards for when people don't have inspo pictures and they can't really convey what they're trying to
Yes.
say. And a lot of the
Yes.
times too, people are saying something and then their inspo picture is like,
Saying something so
yeah,
different. Yes.
or they'll have 8 inspo pictures and they like something different about each of them, you know?
Right.
Which is great.
You know?
Right.
But like when they have 8 pictures, what are like your top 3? Okay. With all these 8, like what are your top 3 questions that you like follow up with?
Okay. I just like kind of like to ask them what specifically draws your eye to this picture, and usually they're like, oh, it's the money piece, or
Yes.
oh, I really like down here this one
Strand,
tone that's going
the
through,
one
and I'm like,
strand.
okay, cool, let's like zoom in on that and talk about that for a bit.
Right.
And then talk about how we can implement that into your color and your service.
Yes. 100%.
Just kind of make sure I get all the right ideas before I start.
Yes, I know. I have definitely gone to mix up before, and I'm like, I have no idea what they want.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they had 8 pictures, they were all different. But that's so true. It is usually 8 pictures and 1 piece of hair on the picture that they like. Okay, when I get pictures sometimes, I feel like it's very popular to have the hair pictures filtered these days.
Yes.
How do you explain that to a client?
Gosh. I mean, just kind of telling them that there are filters, heavy editing on these. You kind of have to think about your hair a little bit more realistically, and the fact that everyone's hair looks different in so many different lightings, natural lighting, you know, indoors,
Yes.
outdoors, whatever. That's where I usually like to pull out my board of pre-saved photos and kind of find
Because
what's
you
in
know
there.
what a good inspo pic
Right.
is.
I mean, even when I take photos of hair, and if I do it in portrait mode, you can go and put it in studio lighting and it like shifts the color almost.
Yes.
And so sometimes I'll show that to my clients. I'm like, look, here's where it did natural lighting and here's where I can shift it to a studio or a contour lighting. So many hair photos that I just are unusable because I'm like, well, we finished this right when like
The sun was
7
setting.
p.m. or something, and it just looks terrible.
Yep. What made you suddenly start caring about your pictures?
Just caring a little bit more about my social media presence when it comes to my hair, just because I do get a good bit of people that will, you know, message me through Instagram or say that they found my Instagram, whatever. Or like they'll want to find inspo pictures from my work too.
Yes.
And so it's like definitely needs to be more high quality and step it up. And so many more hairstylists are now using social media. And it's become this whole new
thing.
It's like hard to keep up.
It is hard to keep up. Even
And the reels, I try to start doing those.
they're hard.
They're so difficult.
They're
they
very
make me
hard.
want to break down and cry. You know what's crazy is my boyfriend was telling me about this, and
You have a boyfriend?
oh my god, yeah. I forgot to tell you that.
Well, okay. You and Hannah both.
Hannah has a boyfriend.
Hannah has a boyfriend. Yeah. Good thing I wasn't the last one to find out.
Well,
I don't even know
I'll
what we're
tell you
saying.
more about him later.
Yeah, later. That's fine.
But he like was trying to tell me about this. I don't know if you've heard of the chat. I like don't know what it's called, but it's this AI thing, and
I've heard of it.
going crazy viral because I have heard about AI in one of my business classes. We like had a whole thing about how AI is taking away so many jobs in the business world. But I was like, thank God a robot cannot do hair. It's too creative.
Don't you feel like when you were in hair school, they just didn't prepare you for this side of it?
No, not at all.
Like, I obviously knew social media was powerful,
Right.
but I didn't realize the extent of how much it was going to play a part in our business. It's like if I don't have an Instagram on something, they don't care about it.
Yeah. Well, I started like stepping it up a little bit and focusing more attention to my Instagram once I had a client tell me, because she's like
I found you from
majoring in
Instagram.
marketing or PR or something, and she had found me from Instagram, and she was like, oh, like you should totally try this, and this, and like using these hashtags, whatever. I started doing that, and like
You saw the results.
yeah,
Quick too,
Yeah.
right?
And my favorite part though is when like these brands that I'm tagging, because I never did that, will like my post.
Yes, you're like, oh,
And I'm
yes. Or started my 4th year before I got here. And obviously I knew social media was a thing and I'd post, but never really with intention or like just never the ideology that like, this is a platform for your future clientele. This is what's going to attract who gets in your chair. Like I didn't realize that was the thing until I got here. That is solely, I feel like how I built my clientele here.
from social media.
Yes. Where at my old salon, it was built through years of people being there, And them just staying within that salon and having grandchildren and children and sisters, like that's how I built my clientele there. But here,
Right.
this was all from the power of social media. Obviously, some word of mouth and referrals and
Right.
my boss like helping me build my clientele. But
Right.
it is very rewarding when you hear that, like, oh, I found you through Instagram. I'm like, you did?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, so you saw my reel?
The amount of like different content ideas that you can do now, it's just wild.
Wild. Hairstylist community alone is
Insane.
massive.
Yes.
It's like we could have our own platform for just stuff like that,
Right,
and it would still be booming.
Yes.
You'd get the same amount of engagement.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's something that I was telling Alex, my boyfriend.
How could I know his name?
Okay, there's his name.
Blessings.
That's all you get. But
That's it.
he was like, what is this like whole world
It is a
of
world.
hairstylists? He had no idea there was just such a community, I guess.
And I had no idea it existed before. Like, I obviously knew that other hairdressers existed. I knew there were big people.
Right.
But again, I didn't realize, like, hairstylists have become best friends through social media and, like, become so close through social media and discussing work together that then they then go on to educate together. What is, like, the biggest advice you would give to a new stylist?
Gosh, I would probably say the biggest piece of advice would be to not be afraid to mess up someone's hair. I think you two would also get the worst anxiety about it.
Worst.
I used to like
Take it home.
yes.
Golly.
I mean, you just overanalyze everything you did. Oh, maybe I should have used a drop of this in my formula or whatever. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's just hair. And the more you do it, the more you're going to learn. And the more you make mistakes, the more you learn too.
Yes.
And if I would have never messed up
You would never.
a million people's hair, I wouldn't be good at it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I don't know. And just being able to make a mistake but keep a clear mind and not
And, like,
worry your client and have a solution right away, and just being educated enough on, color theory is really big too, because
Like,
that'll dig you out of any hole.
Yes.
And explaining things and more when mistakes happen, explaining things to clients in a more educated and sophisticated terminology too, will make them feel much more at ease.
Yes.
And I have made little mistakes on my clients before, and they don't get worked up or nervous at all because it's not something that I'm worked up over. It's
Yes.
like, okay, here's what happened because of blah,
yes.
blah, blah.
Yes.
Here's
100%.
what we'll do.
It took me a long time. I mean, I know that you know
Yeah.
how I used to react over mistakes. And gosh, it would destroy me. It would have me feeling like I cannot do hair.
Right.
And now I do not know what
It's
I'll
so
end up doing
defeating.
for the rest of my life.
Right.
I would treat it like it's the most astronomical thing in the world. It could be the tiniest mistake, but I would make it seem like, okay, the world is ending.
Me too.
And at the end of the day, it's just hair.
Right.
And it's another day you got to learn something new. It's
but-
crazy to me that you graduated high school with your license, essentially, as a licensed hairstylist, went to college, and you do hair, and you've been doing hair basically by yourself
I know.
this whole time.
And so that's been pretty weird and different than most people's paths, because I've had to make all these mistakes by myself, which has been nerve-wracking for sure.
Every time I see you, I feel like when you leave, I'm always like, it's just incredible what she's been doing. Like, I am pretty, like, when I moved here, I told you I was jealous of you because your books were always booked. Your books stay booked. I'm like, like, it's just incredible.
Right.
I could not have ever imagined myself in your shoes, because yes, your environment does matter, but also, like, your environment consisted of you.
Right. It's just the way you react to it. Yeah. And it's just me.
Yeah, it's just you.
So it's all up to me.
It is, though.
Yeah.
That's a lot of responsibility, because your clients, when something does go crazy, your clients do turn to you.
Right.
Like you need to be the one offering them peace.
Right.
I do think, in any consultation, I think, and mistakes, anything, giving them that educated outlook changes the entire game.
Right. I would say the biggest downside, I feel like, to having started by myself is like the smaller things. And a lot of the times I'm texting you, bothering you when I have questions because I don't have anyone in the back room while I'm mixing up my color. Oh, should I
like
add
help you
this?
formulate,
Yeah.
right?
And so it's really just been trial and error. And then when I'm so confused, I reach out to you.
First of all, I love when you reach out to me. You are the quickest person to humble me and make me feel like, okay, I suck. But when you reach out to me for help, I'm like, it's like the nicest thing you could ever do to me. It like gets me chills thinking about it. Like, I'll take it. I love it. But every time you do, it's because you're doing something incredible. Like, again, it's just so crazy how I met you, like as an assistant, to now I'm like,
you met me when I couldn't even drive myself
to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just swept hair.
Yes. And now you're like this booked out stylist that hopefully one day will work with me.
I know.
Hopefully. And we'll just, change the world. It like is the craziest thing. Like your perspective, I feel like a lot of hairdressers starting out need to hear because you busted it as an assistant. Don't anyone take credit away from that. You busted it as an assistant, but when you became a stylist, you have been on your own. Not even like in a suite with other hairstylists. You have literally been on your own. And every single day, I'm asking questions.
Right.
Every single day to other stylists. I'm like, well, what do you think I should do this? And well, I'm doing this. Like, do you think this is a good idea? Like, even if it's something I do every single day, I'm like, feels good to talk about it.
Right.
Just make sure there's
bounce
not
ideas off of each other. I just wish I had that a lot of the times, but it does cause me to have to think pretty like analytically for myself. I mean, I'm good and bad sides to working by myself starting out, but I think it's caused me to grow
so much. Yeah.
Because I almost had to.
Right. If you wanted to keep doing hair, you had to, I feel like. Because going through college wasn't an option.
Right.
I think, for you and getting your license and knowing that you wanted to do hair, it was do or die, literally.
Right.
If you do not bust it, I feel like that first year.
Yes, and that's when you learn everything. Because unless you're an apprentice, you just learn how to pass that test.
You learn to survive.
I mean, I didn't even learn men's hair cutting in school. That's like 100% self-taught and then watching you cut my dad's hair.
All right, and this is how we do this.
Yeah, so I only know how to do a basic men's haircut, but
it's all about floor experience, and you have managed to do that outside of your apartment.
Yeah.
Or inside your apartment, which is like
Wild.
surreal to me. Do you feel like, and this is obviously very realistically speaking, when you're done with school and you are ready to go be like this, cool hairstylist with a license and now a business degree, like obviously you're going to have to increase your prices. Do you think you'll be able to keep your clientele? Because they're growing up with you, essentially.
Right.
You're, their income will change too.
Possibly. I mean, I think obviously I can name a million people that are coming to me just because of the convenience and because of the price. I would say 90% of the men's cuts I do are coming to me because of how cheap I charge for them, just because it's not something that I really advertise that I do necessarily, and so I gotta think.
You are
Use
like
my brain.
an independent stylist, like suite owner essentially is what you are.
Right.
Out of your dorm, very affordable. Those people have no idea what they're getting, like a steal.
Yeah.
They're spoiled right now.
For sure. Yes.
But man, I tell you what, you're doing it right. I tell high schoolers in my chair that if they're like considering doing cosmetology, I'm like, well, if you're gonna do it, this is how you need to do it.
Yes. Don't just do the little
whatever
theory.
Yes.
Like half of your theory.
Yes. And I'm like, and just because you want to go to college doesn't mean that you can't do this and not that. Like, I use you as my prime example. I'm like, she's got it made.
Whenever I do raise my prices, which is only for color I ever do, but those girls, they're always so supportive of it because I mean, when I tell them my price is whenever I'm done, they're like, what?
Like, that's
You're
it?
kidding.
You're like, no.
I'm like, yeah, so it should be $300.
This? Yeah. You're like, actually, in salons, this is $450.
Yeah. I have been really bad about like the emotional discounting, especially they're in my home and I just talked to them so like intimately
Yes,
for like four and a half
yep.
hours.
Yep.
I cannot like upcharge you. I'm like, oh, and a lot of times it's like one length haircut and I'm like, I cannot tack on the haircut for you and whatever. I just feel bad sometimes. And
Same.
I really cannot, I struggle to find the balance of being able to charge what I just did. Because when you say it out loud, I mean, it's like, yeah, you just charge for what you just did.
Well, you're charging for your worth, your time, the inventory, like, but it's so hard. They tell you that they have no job, that they
struggling so much right now.
Right. And like they say in consultation, it's also like still very important to talk about money. And if I wasn't held accountable for like, you know, obviously making sure like Jamie gets her money and stuff, I swear people would leave here all the time with free stuff.
Right.
I'm like, I hate it.
Yeah.
So,
but then there's people that do start taking advantage of the fact that I'm kind and will.
Have people asked you for discounts before or like a free service?
100%. And it's like really frustrating because sometimes it's hard to get to people's heads just because of my circumstance that like, no, I am qualified. I'm
You are
fully
just
licensed.
as much of a professional as like I am.
Right.
You're licensed, you do the education. What? So what? They're like, oh, since you're in college, like, can you do this for free?
Yeah, well, there'll be like girls in my sorority who kind of try and pull oh, is it like
a sister helping a sister
helping
out.
a sister out, yeah, but and it's kind of like, no.
Actually,
it's hard to say that, and then I've had to tell people, some girls before, like, no, I'm sorry, this is what it is, I can't change it.
Good for you.
Here's my qualifications, like, I'm not in a salon right now, but that's just temporary.
That's because I'm literally furthering my education. Right. You're lucky I'm not in a salon right now because we certainly wouldn't be.
I would be powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. And they usually don't come back to me, and hey, that's fine. But I have a lot of people that will be like, oh, it's just a trim. You're really going to charge me?
A trim's a trim, baby. I still had to use the same $400 set of shears. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. I have such a big talk. I'm like, yeah, you charge that money, but I literally, free hair.
It's so easy to say right now, but it's so bad in the moments. And then when I'm like adding it up, sometimes I'm just like, oh, maybe I'll just take off the root smudge.
Yes!
Like it makes that $10 is really like changing that number.
Right.
Quite a bit. So
it's changing it for them slightly, but for you, it is like, I mean, there goes your cover up product.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, it's hard. Stunning.
Okay, let's go.
I feel like getting to do just one person is like just the creativity and getting to like redo the things you need to do and take your time.
Take your time. Where do you learn this?
Like I pretty much all the classes I take, they all go over photography. Same pose. Bring your chin this way. Ooh, yes. Oh yeah, baby. Okay. New. I'm glad this video is absolute garbage. I'm glad this video is absolute garbage.
I'm crying.
Did that hurt your feelings?
No.
Oh, because you're laughing so hard?
Yeah, because you made me laugh so hard.
I can't tell if that was serious, like if you're having a nice moment, or is this a mental breakdown? And that's the Sheer Talk, everyone. Make sure that you are following us on Instagram and TikTok, all the social media platforms. Make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel so you can keep up with Sheer Talk and see what Sheer happens. Thanks again for watching.